awkwardly looking. Yeah, we're good. Hello, we are live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is ArrowFyre. Welcome to Let's Talk Transformers Live, number 25, quarter of a century, my God. Today, I am joined by three lovely co-hosts. I have Skywarp SCS, I have David Cousens, and making a bit of a super sub appearance for us is Spiderfather in for the previously advertised David Wallace. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me this evening.
I'm more striking.
You're all everything that you say, and yeah, if you hear a shouting going on, that's because of the unfortunate timing of Arsenal playing, and I've got a neighbour who's watching it as well. So yes, let us get on with some news, shall we? Because there's only been a bit, so I will first get things ready. So let's start with that. I really should get quicker at this. Share screen. There we go. Now, this, as I understand it, as we were just talking, is the newly teased Unicron Soldier under the Age of the Primes line from Hasbro, which is a retool of Megatronus, which has already come out. So just a silhouette image. And Lee, you were saying there's been other images as well that have been shown?
Yeah, there's a couple which looks like someone's just taken a bit of Photoshop to him. So he looks like he's got the Requiem Blaster steel as an accessory, or maybe it's a retooled version. Because it's all in silhouette, you can't really tell. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I noticed that Hasbro Pulse has been doing a lot of fan streams for things like Star Wars and Marvel and G.I. Joe, and I can't remember the last time Transformers got one. So hopefully we're due one soon.
Yeah, I mean, certainly in a chug line, it's not a figure that you'd expect to get. Would you have said under Age of the Primes and having all the Primes, would there have been expected to be a Unicron figure? I would have thought we'd have more. Well,
the way they're going about it is a bit more original than just re-releasing the Armada Unicron as a Titan figure, or even the G1 retool they did of that figure. So yeah, my problem with it is that it's a leader class army builder, and you know what I'm like with army builders. So I'm either
just great. Yeah, if anything like your Tarantulas repaints, yes, you're going to have so many more. But yeah, okay, it's early days. It's all we have, but that's what we have to start with. Going on, well, this wasn't necessarily going to be in the news, but it was going to be at the end of the news, but I'll go into it at this point. Yes, Transformers the Show, in partnership with Toyfu, are doing a 24-hour charity live stream, which I do believe some people on here will be attending as well in segments, as I'm viewing it as 24 hours of Le Mans, and you have your stint and your segment to it. And yeah, I will be on there doing my early morning shift on Saturday with some few people with bags under the eyelids, I believe. But yes, it's going to be a 24-hour charity stream with auctions that are going on. Some people here have done some donating to the prizes, I believe.
This is true.
Very much so. I've donated a Fans Hobby diorama thing. It's huge. I use it for Masterpiece figures because my light box area isn't large enough for tall figures. So if you are into your toy photography, or if you just want something on the shelf to display your big figures on, go have a bid on it.
I mean, those things are well sought after anyway, so that will be a nice thing to get. But yeah, there's a special character that has been created in shots, which has been drawn by Dougatron, if I'm being remembered, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, that's it,
Yeah. So yeah, it should be fun. Come along, check it out, and do have a look at all the social links. I'm going to be posting more about it as the weeks go on, but I wanted to give it some voice tonight. Or as the weeks go on, as the days go on.
Yeah.
Right. Where are we now? You're not supposed to look at that yet. Right. So this was one of the first items of news. It's nothing new, nothing we don't know. But I thought it's an amazing box art that I thought, wow, that's great. This is the Titan size Age of Extinction Grimlock, which Optimus Prime rode in Age of Extinction, and is going to be coming out soon. And that is a box art for it. Do we think these box arts are getting more sexy? If so, why?
I think Transformers Transformers has always had quality box art, though, isn't it? I mean, you even hark back to the G1 days, and you look, we had the murals on the backs of the boxes. We had obviously all the individual character art, and even to the point that they literally put a book together of Transformers box art. I think Jim Sorensen was involved in that. So the box art for this line has always been phenomenal. It always has been.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, it's one of these things. That's why I've kept some of them. Only two, actually. One I kept in particular, because it's when you see these on the shelf and it's like, I can't not, I want to pick that up off the shelf and take it home with me. And I get the same with this, because whilst I'm not the biggest live action movie fan, I've seen a prototype of this image at MCM. It's a huge dinosaur. It looks amazing if you're anywhere near inclined. But that's one of the boxes to me that I look at that and go, that would drag my eyes to it. That would drag me there as a kid and as an adult, has that same pulling power.
Yeah, I doubt a kid's going to be able to walk home with it if they fancy it, though. They'll be like,
Well,
how much?
They might make much.
I think just because of the size of it, like the kid would just struggle and suddenly collapse underneath it.
I mean, don't forget
Depends how determined they are.
It had a giant Grimlock toy when the film came out, which was one of those really simple ones with a handle on the back that you press the button. I think it auto-transformed. And it also had a little Optimus Prime that could ride on its back. So this is our version of that iconic toy.
So what you're saying, it's a rip-off, Lee? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm
A £220 rip-off.
I just got rid of a Titan dinosaur, so I've got a gap I can put it in.
There you are. It's clearly it's been engineered for you. So there you go. That's the first one. Quickly go on to this. YOLO Park have teased us throughout the week. We have got further Beast Wars figures being released by them. And stuff is kind of stepping up a little bit, I think. So Black Arachne has been shown, but also going on is a very stylized-ish, very slender-looking Beast Wars Megatron with some nice scaling. Although I wish the eye wasn't positioned where it was, because it kind of looks like it's going. I kind of wish it was a bit.
Someone has done that deliberately, and I know what
like
pastimes include.
have it at the front of the eyeball or the center, but the fact is like there, it's like he's bitten his tongue and he's like, But yeah, but this is obviously YOLO Park that's coming out. They've recently released their Dinobot and Optimus Primal, which Candice and Gary Chalk have reviewed on Primal Parodies, which is on Instagram, I believe. But actually having Gary Chalk review an Optimus Primal figure is pretty cool. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. Lee, have you picked up previous Beast Wars YOLO Park?
No, I'm not all that bothered about non-transforming Beast Wars figures, because I have loads of Beast Wars figures that can transform that are just as good looking as these things. So we had the Kingdom figures, particularly the Takara repaints. I got the Masterpiece. So not for me, really.
Itches have been scratched.
But there is a market for it, because YOLO Park and Blockies and all that sort of stuff are really popular. I mean, I've got Flames Toys model kit of Megatron that I need to put together at some point, and I will be picking up the Tarantulas just because I need it to go on my Tarantula show. Well,
I'd be worried if you didn't, if I'm perfectly honest. Right, do you want to get out your system now, Lee? We're going on to X-Transbots, and there's actually quite a bit here. Can you shut up? No, I'm going to phone pick with you. Stop it. No, because the one that you sent me a picture of earlier today, I shan't have it. That long haul is their best figure, and just give them a break, give them a chance, give Peace a chance. Shut up. Anyway, this is Slug Slinger that's coming out now. There was a stream by Keith last night, and I put this up on Facebook today, but it's worth talking about. It was a bit of an impromptu one. We're talking about some of the releases that are being shown. It's a shame I've done these a little bit back to front, but we'll go through them in this order. This is their Slug Slinger that they're working through. I was really looking forward to it. It is coming out in two colors. You've got the Japanese Toon edition, so Headmaster Series Japanese release, and then you've got Japanese Toy edition, so it's blue Slug Slinger. Fine, that will be the case for some people. A lot of people said, where's the black version? Where's the darker one for the Western release for Season 4 for Rebirth? And there was something teased, and then no pre-order has gone up anywhere. This stream that happened last night, Keith actually said, whilst he was showing the figure, which is not too far from being done, saying, "Oh, eventually, after having no plans and said previously there was no plans to do a black Western release version. Oh, there will be one later." And I thought, this is what they did with Ironhide. I won't get bogged down into it, but they re-released it and changed the face color to a more accurate version of Ironhide. And I remember someone put a comment saying, "Well, this pisses off people who bought it the first time round because they can't exactly swap it out." And it's a bit like that with this. Like if you put your pre-order in, you're thinking you want a Slugslinger, but it's not the Western one. Well, now you've got to cancel your pre-order. There's still time to work around it, but yeah, just hang fire is what I would say. There will be one. I mean, people were always going to say that if you're going to put out blue Slugslinger, people are going to say like, "Where's the one from the Rebirth, please?"
But Slugslinger has, for 99.9% of his fictional appearances, been blue. There's only one scene in the Rebirth, which is his one speaking line, where he's black. And that may not even be deliberate. That may just be how the transfer of the negative to screen comes across.
Yeah,
So I don't blame them for not wanting to release it, because I really wonder how many people are that bothered about a black Slugslinger. Having said that,
I mean,
I've got the black one that they did for Chug over there somewhere.
Having said that, I've already got it. I mean, I take your point. He was certainly much more blue dominated as well. But if people here will remember what the cartoon showed, whether, I mean, look at Six Shot, prime example, 16 seconds on screen, and there's been many a version of a toy or a call out for Six Shot as a character to be represented and have one of the smallest lines, so one of the smallest appearances. So whilst yes, he was dominant as blue, it's not going to be. I don't think it's unreasonable to ask for a Western colouring, and the fact that they kind of like said, "Oh yeah, now we'll do it afterwards," a bit.
I can see it being an exclusive for a show or something, because then you can produce it in limited numbers, charge more for it, and then you'll probably sell out and be happy.
Yeah, a limited run would make more sense, wouldn't it? Going on, there's a bit more. This is a head of Scorponok because Zarek is being worked on. The head that it's going to fit in is non-transformable. It is detachable, and the figure here, there's Keith, by the way. You've got a little headmaster that fits into the big robot. This is, again, very like Japanese series, Zarek. And again, someone put it into a comment on my post earlier on. Yeah, don't worry, Guzzy. Yeah, I could hear the football going on. Yeah, shame for Arsenal. I can understand when I've seen the side-by-side comparisons is that Zarek from Rebirth was a completely different build to Zarek in the Japanese series. Like the head, the chest, the layout was quite a bit different. So to kind of re-engineer that into a Western release would be harder. It's not as simple as just changing the color paint. So this is going to be purely Japanese creation and a full MP scaling, which is cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Was that
don't know
different
how
Crime Watch?
Not that I'm aware of, but mind you,
holding a figure.
So I was thinking, surely Lee would bite with Crime and X-Transbots and just put those two together, saying like X-Transbots are a Crime on Transformers fans.
I'm going to say something positive about X-Transbots, right? I will forgive the baby crap colour they seem to have chosen for Zarek's torso, rather than.
It is early days. It is.
Yeah,
it is.
If they include a head, which is actually Nebulon Lord Zarek, the white guy with the silver hair. If they include that in that release, I will forgive anything else that is wrong with it, because nobody has given us a Marvel Comics Lord Zarek.
Well, no one's given us the green with purple hair from the Rebirth series either.
Oh, screw that guy. I want the Marvel Comics.
It just needs a little
weirdo.
It just needs a little tagline on the bottom of that image, doesn't it? If seen, do not transform and dial 999. I think that would finish.
This is hate crimes that I just don't like towards X-Transbots. See, Lee, you're spreading this all now. I'm aware X-Transbots have a reputation that they deserve, but occasionally they get it right. Innocent till proven guilty. Anyway, we've got more to get through, so strap in. But yeah, that robot is going to turn into this. Well, it's going to fit inside this head. I don't know how I feel about it, but that's going to be the head for their 4 foot, I imagine, Titan when it comes out. It's just going to be a big clump otherwise. But whatever.
I think that's too big for a Transformer toy. Like this
I'm inclined to agree.
Is far too big. Unicron as a one-off, being that large, fine. But it's not something that I want to regularly see. Masterpiece Titan class figures are ridiculous. Really, you can't enjoy them. You can't enjoy them. They'll just get set in the corner and collect dust.
Well, this is where you get like the Scorponok, Earthrise, that kind of Titan level. That's what you need to be. That's fine. Anything more gets unseemly, just awkward enough to manage. That's just about manageable for what it needs to achieve. And Masterpiece doesn't help that, but whatever. Finishing up on the news end, X-Transbots showing their hotspot finally, just to let people know they're still going with it. Apparently, this also shows how it's going to be combined and created. And Keith also said that there is consideration towards the G1 toy in this design. But that is hotspot. He looks fair enough. He looks cool. I was going to get him, but it's been about 7 years, so I've moved on.
Looking at that toy gives me the same feeling I get when I have to go to the dentist. I just look at that and think, I'm not going to enjoy that whatsoever.
I'm starting to regret inviting you on.
It's not like the front view, it's the back view, where its parts seem too heavy for the rest of it.
I mean, I do think the paint is it's giving the impression that it's made out of 100% die cast. And
the colour's
it's not. I don't think it's going to be the way it goes. But it's got to be enough to obviously take combiner weight, because it doesn't look like they're going to go down the route of a torso frame. And he's going to be, a traditional torso bot.
The ankles appear to have, if you go back to the picture from behind, looks like there's a sort of concertina of panels.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot to digest here.
Are big because they're going to be defensor's feet, and they're going to unfold, and whoever the leg bots are going to have to clamp onto those panels and hold the whole thing upright.
I'm more concerned about these shoulder joints, if I'm perfectly honest. There's a bit of drooping too much there for my liking. And look, it's got a long way to go to beat MMC with their version. It was large. I know you had trouble with it as well, but
I had trouble with it because it had a piece broken when it arrived.
Piece missing, which you got.
They did send me the replacement part. It's been fine since. I have not combined them yet, so that's something I do need to do.
It's good figure. Better combined, probably.
Oh, I love it. Aesthetically, it's really nice. I'm looking forward to aerial bots and Stunticons when they eventually get around to them.
Well, yes, I was very fortunate to have one of their designers, Sam Makes Toys, on my channel. And yes, a new combiner will be out soon. Right. Shall we do a quiz? Let's do a quiz. Why not do a quiz? Go on, let's do a quiz. Right. Now, make sure I get this all right. You may have noticed a little while ago, I did a memory quiz on one of these. So I'm going to put an image up on screen. You've got to try and remember some characters, because I'm going to take it off after a few seconds. I want no scribbling down pieces of papers. It's a memory game. So hands above where I can see them. You've got to remember them. First person to get it wrong is eliminated. Last person standing wins. Something to that effect. So we have got a lovely image here from Nate Phoenix. I will just get it. Always have the glasses on. Of pretty much every Decepticon, and I will make sure I will get it into a good zoom for you, because it can get a bit cool. I'll go into sort of that kind of. There you go. You can. Is that okay? Yeah, sorry. All right. So take your mental snapshots in 3, 2, 1. It is gone. Now, start naming characters on screen. We will chalk them off as we go. I will get pen first and paper so I can chalk them off.
You want us to name every single Decepticon from the
I'm not expecting you to name all of them.
When I know that you can't even name every single Beast Wars character.
I can, and there's podcasts. I just can't pronounce it. That's the term you're learning.
Angle moi.
Okay, go on, you can start, Lee.
What am I supposed to do?
You're supposed to name a Decepticon from that image.
Okay, well, you've got front and center. You have two, which only appeared in the G1 cartoon, where the aerial bots went back in time, which is the transport cargo soldier and the bots that turn into energon cubes. They didn't really get names; they're just troopers.
So of all the ones, you pick the ones without names.
Well, they've got no names regardless of who you ask, but they're still in the picture.
Well, yes, that's true. Okay, so what do I call them? Grunt 1 and Grunt 2, I suppose. Okay, I'll give you. It is a character in the picture, so I'll give it that. Steve, on to you.
Oh, Skywarp. You got in there.
Well, fine. Okay, Mr. Cousens.
Triptychon.
He was there, standing nice and proud. Lee.
Rumble.
Which colour?
Well, as it was based on the cartoon, it will be blue.
That's how all things should be. Yes, it is. Steve.
Thundercracker.
Yes, I had to look for him.
So where's
David?
Wally Decepticon edition, isn't it?
It is for me.
Reflector.
Oh, God, you give me the smallest thing to look for. Are you actually just saying Decepticons, or have you actually seen him in this image?
I'm fairly certain he was there. I mean, I could have just
I
hallucinated
own
it.
this bit of artwork.
I thought he was down front on the right somewhere.
I can't see him. That's not the. I mean, there's
Really?
a lot of small, like people poking up in corners. Oh no, I found him.
Yeah, okay.
I found him. Okay, good. Lee.
Reflector. There's three of them.
No, I'm not having that. No, that's you out. That's you out. No, you're out.
I was tempted to do that.
That's not fair.
to
You
me-
didn't say.
that to me just looked like intentional sabotage. That looked like match fixing to me. I think you wanted to end this early.
Well, could you
I'm going to
not
give
get
you
away
a
with?
response. I could name them without even seeing that bit of artwork.
Well, you can't now. You're not going to win. Right, you're out because you intentionally took a dive. How dare you? Steve.
Starscream.
Yeah, go on then. Starscream. David.
Right, you've done all the Seekers, haven't you? Well, Megatron. Oh.
Oh, boring. And Steve.
Acid Storm.
Oh, look at you getting all tunnel funny. Doing this. Go on. Yeah. David.
Rainmaker. Wait, that's the blue one of Acid Storm. Yeah.
Well, we have had Acid Storm, I'm afraid. So just before, so the de facto,
Could have had two others. You could have had.
it's Nova Storm and
Iron Storm.
Iron Storm.
Oh
yes.
God,
That's
yeah,
it.
no, sorry, yeah, I got the
I'm
name.
sorry.
To be fair,
My brain went blue and then Rainmaker came from somewhere.
No,
my next
afraid
one was going to
not.
be Sunstorm because Sunstorm was stood next to
Yeah.
Acid Storm in that image.
Is Sunstorm actually in the image though? Because I don't think Sunstorm ever appeared in the cartoon.
Sunstorm is in the image at the front. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
right.
got Sunstorm and is it Nacelle, blue body, red face?
Yeah, that sounds like
Steve,
the
I think you've won. We're just going to carry on naming the characters.
I must admit, I did worry a little bit about that quiz because maybe I picked quite a few there, but when I was like looking at the Decepticon cast, you can kind of get them done pretty quickly because you name the Seekers, you name Soundwave, Shockwave, Megatron, and then it's kind of Devastator and Insecticons, and that's kind of it. And I was like, you blitz through that, and I thought, well, okay, I've gone for every possible Decepticon. Well, it's going to take ages to lose people. But intentional sabotage from you there. Second,
Is Decepticon in that image?
Deceptor what? Cran? Oh yes, no, yes he is. Yes, yeah. It's a very good image. It's proper who's who. I mean, I keep thinking, oh, there's not that. Oh yes, there is. We've even got the clone bots in it. You know, from the Rebirth,
I think
Wingspan and Pounce.
Oh, Wingspan and
I
Pounce.
bought a print of it. So if anybody wants one, just contact Nat.
Yeah, it's a very good image. It's very. I love those when it's like filling every possible crack of characters to be shoved in, like as much as possible. Right. Okay. Well, that's the quiz out of the way. David, you are the winner. No, sorry, Steve, you are the winner. I do apologise. Mispronouncing it.
If you want to.
But I do suspect sabotage from at least one of you. I mean, considering he's coming.
I had fun. I thought that was great.
Yeah, we do normally have fun by mocking X-Transbots. You're mocking X-Transbots and you're
You're the one that keeps
sabotaging my
mentioning
quiz.
them. I could have gone the whole show without not even having to hear their name.
I doubt you could have gone the whole show and not mentioned them. I don't think you have it in you. Right. Anyway, shall we start on with some discussion topic for this evening, gentlemen? If you don't mind, I'll go first because mine's very broad, very general. Skybound. What is going on? Because I'm rapidly losing interest. Up to issue 30, particularly Robert Kirkman taking it on 25 through to 30. It felt a bit more my pace. Don't know really necessarily why, but I was like, cool, I'm on board with it. And since then, I'm waning. Interest is dipping a little bit, and I'm not entirely sure. I don't think I'm alone. David's nodding as well. Yeah. But what is going wrong? What's the missing ingredient? Because I can't pinpoint necessarily.
Right, before we start, I'm just checking the chat, and people are saying no spoilers, please. So, should we be general?
Okay, sure.
We can make it non-spoiler related. I think. Yeah. Or if we do come up with any points, we'll generalize them as much as we can.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I'll stay away from spoilers. I think, without spoilers, I think in the Daniel Warren Johnson issues, there were a lot of narrative moments where you had time to breathe and you got a character's perspective, and at least a whole page would be devoted to it. So whether it's Beachcomber enjoying like looking out into space and kind of like thinking it's nice, Optimus with the deer, there were lots of moments of reflection, and you got a moment just to be with the characters and kind of see how things were, and so it felt nice. Or like say like Jazz enjoying Earth culture, or those kind of things.
Yeah. So
you had a reason to care, and it feels like since Kirkman took over, it's a bit of a speed run. Like things just happen. It's without spoilers. There are like a certain couple of character transitions that are quite big, and they just happen within the issue. And it's like it's very kind of like, okay, this is starting. This has now happened. This character is significantly changed, but we don't have time to see how anybody feels about any of this really. A lot of it is just like, okay, this thing has happened. Now this thing has happened. And there's suddenly a lot more, it's like somebody's brought around all their toys. It's like Lee's turned up with all of his toys and then just like jam them all in. And it's...
Did I bring a fleet of trucks?
Oh, yeah, exactly. And that's kind of how it feels.
Cargo ship.
Because you've suddenly got lots of characters from... And I do like having in... characters from other shows, so like the Prime characters. That's nice. I'm quite in favor of that. But they just kind of turn up, and they either get like destroyed, or they do quickly something. They can't turn up, much like in the you mentioned the Six Shot earlier, and he is the poster boy for like, "Hi, my name is Six Shot," and then disappears. And it all feels like that. It's like a load of stuff is happening, and so plot wise, if you were writing down like a Wikipedia or TF Wiki summary, you think, yeah, there's a lot going on, but it's kind of just stuff is happening. It's not paced properly. He makes a lot more money writing than I do, so but that's how it feels to me.
I think you've absolutely hit the nail on the head. Like there was, as you say, the deer scene earlier, Skybound stuff was more impactful. You had a reason to like. Of course, Optimus would tread on a deer and be woefully sad about it. But, it's no particular spoiler to say we've had a lot around Alita for one reason or another, and it seems to go rapid, through an entire issue of it, particularly the last one, particular fight scene that she was in with a few others. And it was solved incredibly quickly, something that felt like it could have been longer, more fleshed out, and to a point now where I'm even looking at the plot saying I'm not even sure I know what's going on. I know Autobots versus Decepticons, it's not exactly hard to work out, but I'm not sure what we're doing and why.
Yeah, there's. Sorry, go on, Lee.
No, I was sorry. I was just going to say with Ian's point about it doesn't seem to know what's going on, and David, you put it far more eloquently than I could about the breathing space and things. It seems that a lot of things are just being dropped in for shock value. Shock value, bang! Shock value, bang! This will get people talking about it online. Shock value, bang! And to hark back to sort of Ian's point about some of the things that they have or haven't done with Elite 1. But it doesn't feel like there's an end game to it. Sometimes, you look at we talk about those, you look at those traditional 6-issue story arcs that tend to dominate comic books because that's the obvious figure for the trade paperback, and you can kind of see how an arc will play out without, trying to second guess the writers. And I'm not a professional comic book writer by any stretch of imagination, but I just can't see where they're going with it, because they're dropping all these things in that are changing. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for doing different stuff. We move through the motions sometimes in Transformers if we're not careful, because everyone wants that nostalgia value. Megatron becomes Galvatron, and this person is going to become a headmaster, and that's going to happen. And we're waiting to see how these particular creative teams are going to be doing it slightly differently. But I just genuinely, and I've read a fair few comic books in my time, cannot see where they're going with this.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Is I don't know what the end game is. It feels, again, around Elita, it's coming back to Optimus. And again, that shouldn't be too much of a spoiler. The two characters have intertwined before, and to the point that I then say why, like to what point. And I don't know. I do wonder as well, is this my blinkered view of it, because I was such a big fan of IDW. I'm such a big fan of Lost Light, and as I've said before, that wasn't all perfect. But I wonder, am I quick to criticize? But I come away from some of those issues around More Than Meets the Eye just before Lost Light went off on its separate story, and I couldn't wait for the next issue. I was refreshing every day. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Now I'm like, I can go 2-3 weeks and like, I haven't read the latest Skybound.
I did forget the last two.
Yeah. Do you know what it feels? Sorry, Lee, just very, very quickly. Do you know what it feels a little bit like to me? And it's going to sound like a bit of a daft analogy. It's like a Michael Bay movie in a comic book at the moment. It's just relentless. I know that sounds like a really daft analogy, and again, Lee, sorry, I didn't mean to talk.
It's fast paced, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with the points everyone's made. I'm enjoying it, but I read all of the Energon Universe comics, and I would say that the best one out of all of them is Void Rivals, because that is one that is actually taking the time to tell a story and flesh out the characters within that story. In fact, it's the polar opposite of Transformers, because it's slow. It's a slow burn. You have time to appreciate it. You're right when you say Transformers comics risk retreading old ground, and really that's how the comic started, because it was during the arrival of Earth, the Autobots and Decepticon war, human allies. What I will say about Kirkman's role is that he is doing stuff that we've not seen before. So whatever the things may have over the Elita storyline, that hasn't happened before with any character, where they are really different from the previous holder of that role. And the same goes for RC. So I'm interested to see where it's going. I understand your misgivings, but I'm not going to judge Skybound until Skybound's finished.
I was a big fan of that's the funny thing, actually. I'm a big fan of what's happened. As far as since without spoilers, it's just I would like more. I'd like to spend more time on that.
More time with it happening.
The problem with Transformers is it has a vast cast, and everyone has a different favorite character, and their favorite character is never getting the amount of attention that you think they should be getting. And certain characters will now never get that level of attention. They get shafted once more because they never seem to get very much attention. But what we have to remember is the best bits about IDW were written by people who, like us, were fans and who were so deeply immersed in the lore. Skybound, sure, the writers know what Transformers are and they like Transformers, but they're not Transformers fans in the same sort
No,
of stuff.
That's very true.
Yeah, that's very true.
So their Transformer references that they're drawing on are the most basic ones. I don't want me to say
It's
that
very surface level.
an insult.
Yeah.
And they're going to work from those, which is why originally Skybound very much cleaved to the cartoon, I think. But also Transformers needs outside people to come in and craft stories, because we are burdened by wanting a character to behave a certain way and hit the story beats that we're familiar with, that they've done for the past 40 odd years. So we do need to come in and shake it up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, we can't just do the biopic of the character forever and a day, because otherwise what's the point? Because you know how everyone's going to interact and behave and all the rest of it. I mean, the only thing I'd say is a bit of a counterpoint is, again, a series that I bang on about a lot is Secrets and Lies 84, written by Simon Furman. Very much to bring in the everyone else. I mean, we had Fastlane and Cloudbreaker in there. No one's crying out for them in comic book form or any other form, but they were. Well, yeah, I know you're right. Anyone who hasn't got their foundation of their houses made by Transformers, they've forgotten they purchased. But the narrator of the series, talking to us in the book, is Punch Counterpunch, and I think great person robot to talk to us, as you know, works with the character. So, but Furman's been deep in Transformers since the beginning, so he's got that. As you quite rightly say, where we are now, it feels like, and a great analogy that Steve made as well. Previously, we've had fans of Transformers, and then we've had like the Michael Bay, whereas you had sort of Travis Knight making a Bumblebee film, who was a G1er from back in the day. And that's where you had the opening Cybertron scene, because you wanted that claw back to whatever. But I do take the point. We do need different. I'm all for a bit different, but I have not been captivated, and it's starting to wane my interest. But I hear a lot of good things around Void Rivals.
I wonder if one of the... Sorry, Lee. Go on.
There you go. You go on.
I wonder if one of the things we need, not that I need to be spending any more money on comic books, but
yes, you do.
Don't you? Right. Last time I came on this stream with these exact same people, I ended up buying a bloody emergency services themed hot rod. So don't you start.
Did you get one?
Yes, maybe I did get one. Anyway.
Enabler.
Be that as it may. One thing IDW did incredibly, irrespective of whether you enjoyed the content or not, one thing IDW did incredibly successfully was mini series that spun out of what was going on in the main book. So you look back to the Spotlight series is the immediate one that springs to mind. And I wonder if accepting Void Rivals is, in inverted commas, a Transformers comic. I wonder if what Skybound need to be doing is they need something else that kind of parallels off alongside it to expand on some of the other bits that are going on.
Yeah, I think that would be a really solid idea.
I mean, I did like their annual that they just released, where they've got stories from each of their worlds.
The Energon universe.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Exactly the sort of thing that Steve's talking about.
Yeah, that is a fair point. I mean, one of the few times they're not actually releasing these stories in line with a toy line or any kind of shackle of other media to focus on, because that can be a burden. We've seen it before, where you're trying to keep up with toys being marketed or whatever. So great, go on, do what you like. But I don't know. I keep waiting for luck to change a little bit, and I feel at the moment, as David said, just kind of I missed an issue. I've got some catch up to do.
Maybe just go with the trades then, because that gives you 6 months of not following the story, and then you can just still have it in one big go, and you're not overanalyzing individual issues. You've just got six issues all in one
go. 6 to get through. Yeah,
maybe that's the way that you go about it. But you mentioned Simon Furman. I just want to point out, because Simon Furman did reinvent the wheel when he started Infiltration. So he took the familiar tropes, but he did something different with it, which felt fresh. But what he also did is, because he started again with a very limited cast that didn't center around Optimus Prime from day one. It was Ratchet, who has had a lot of stories and focus on him in previous comic series, but the whole setup and the situation and the way the humans were integrated into the story, it just felt new and fresh. And it's a shame that All Hail Megatron, for all the reasons that All Hail Megatron was necessary, I do feel that he did a disservice to the world that Simon had created, because I would have liked to have explored that a bit more before it just
I can agree with that. Yeah, I love All Hail Megatron, but it did kind of when it hit a reset button. But yeah, go on, Steve.
I was just going to say, alternatively, and if you look at sort of other things that have been released, and you were talking about Secrets and Lies, which of course ties back into the original Man of Iron and storyline on that. Just need to find yourself on YouTube, maybe a little channel that does retrospective walkthroughs of some of the original comics. Something like that would probably just really suit you.
So yeah, okay. Anyone come to mind?
No, not in particular.
No. Might already be in the description of this video, actually. Maybe I've already tagged you. Yeah. Yes, do go and check out Mr. Skywarp SCS. Gears. Oh, hold on. Get the terminology right. Gears, servos, and optic sensors.
Oh, close. Cogs, gears, and optic sensors.
Cogs, gears, and optic. That's it.
I don't really call it that. It's just I just like having a little title card. But anyway, that's my shameless. That's my shameless plug done for the evening.
Shameless plug. How dare.
And just to point out, it was you that brought up comic books, not me.
But it was you getting the plug in, whether you wanted it or not. So you found a way. All right. Well, look, that's my starter for 10. I mean, I do hope it gets better. I feel like it's me. I feel like I'm maybe asking for too much. I'm not appreciating so many other things. So I don't hate it. But it's just I want it to grab me because I have been grabbed by Transformers comics before, and I'm yet to be grabbed. I'm ungrabbed. Shall we say? I'm just whelmed. Right. Who wants to go next with their topic of discussion?
Well, my topic is comics related, so this would actually be a good segue. So I've listened to That's Just Prime, a Beast Wars podcast today. Who's latest?
Are you going to? You're just going to? Don't.
The second spin-off Beast Wars comic that IDW did, which was The Ascending, and I was wondering that if Skybound was to do a spin-off comic which had nothing to do with the ongoing Energon universe, what franchise and what story would you like that to tell? So, as an example, Dreamwave, before they lost the license, they released a special which had Robots in Disguise, Beast Wars, and I can't remember what the third one was. And they had a vote, and they said, whichever gets the most votes, we'll do a comic book series of it. So we could have had a Robots in Disguise comic, but everyone voted for Beast Wars, which was the right choice. And then when IDW came on, they also did the Beast Wars comics. They also did an animated comic, which unfortunately didn't carry on the story of season 4 of Transformers Animated that we have had since through various con exclusives. So what would you like to see? And I'll start you off with my one. I would like a Beast Machines comic which carries on after the reformatting of Cybertron. Because back in the day, there were quite a few fan comics. I'm talking about 2000-ish. And it was a fan-made comic. It was really good because it actually looked at how the characters were dealing with this new state of being, and also the trauma of what happened before. So the Maximal Elders, for example, were suddenly reformatted, and they wanted to know what the hell had happened and how they can reverse it and go back to being the way they wanted. And then you had Silverbolt, who, far from being traumatized over being Jetstorm, wanted to be Jetstorm again, and how that estranged him from Black Arachnia, who went through all the trouble to bring him back in the first place. So I'd like a story that explored those themes.
Wow. Okay. I would like. I guess I would like to get a bit more of a RID 2001 centric comic. I don't really know how, but I always feel like because that was imported into Western world, and we really have to view it so independently, but it's still as beloved. And I'd like a kind of a comic series to sort of tie it in better than we got, because I don't think it was ever fully explained how the Predacons got there, was it? It just went through.
It was part of the G1
universe.
It's part of G1.
But how did they get so? Was it through wormhole times transport?
Oh, we haven't got time to go through the whole thing here.
No, probably not.
There was, again, in the early 2000s, there were fan comics linking to RID. Jack Lawrence.
Of course, yes.
No, Jack Lawrence did the Beast Machines comic that was in the same issue. So there was a prose story about how Beast Wars Megatron, after he was flung from the Autobot shuttle, but before he got to Cybertron, landed on Earth and became Gigatron to try and get back to Cybertron, and then Beast Machines would have carried on. It was weird. It's all interdimensional stuff.
Yeah, tie-ins aren't easy.
There's a lot more stories to be told in that world, because you could have new bad guys, because there were a lot of toys released under the RID universe subline that you could have as new villains and new heroes come in to continue the story.
Yeah, I think it's an era of Transformers that I just feel is kind of just on its own now. And as you say, it is G1, quite right, but it was such a stopgap there.
In Takara territories, it wasn't G1 in the West. It wasn't the same thing. But I liked it because it was a blend of everything that had happened up to that point. So you had your Autobots versus your Predacons, and you had your Decepticons in there. Having some Maximals join the Autobots would have been interesting to see.
Yeah. I feel like it's something that could do with a bit more of a, like the Gathering and Ascending treatment to it that the Beast Wars got, a bit of a source book fleshing out a bit more, and sort of the other characters we didn't get to see, just to bridge it a bit. But I don't get the impression that licenses want to backtrack too much, certainly after the 2021 IDW Beast Wars and how that ended up. Yeah, but that would be my pick. What about the rest of you?
At the risk of being a massive G1er and showing my age, I would like to...
You said it, I didn't.
Never liked you anyway, you know that. I would like to cover the period from the original cartoon show between season 2 and the movie. So 1985 through to 2005. How did the Decepticons recapture Cybertron? How did we get set up on the moon bases? How did we build Autobot City? You got 20 years to play with there.
That's a great
the stories you could tell with that would be amazing.
Do we even know, even in fan theories, how the Decepticons took over Cybertron? I don't think I've ever dug into why.
No.
I don't. To my knowledge, and I know Lee is far more knowledgeable than I am. I don't think it's ever been touched. I don't think it's ever been referred to. I don't think we've even had little throwaway Easter egg lines on it. Nothing. It has
no, because even in Japan, you go from season 2 to Scramble City to the movie to 2010. So there is no between Scramble City and the movie. There's nothing.
What was the last episode of season 2 in the West?
Bot.
Yeah. Oh, good lord! That did not exactly continue the storyline, did it? Bot went into Megatron's King of Cybertron again. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's just this huge.
There's also like gaps. So where did the Protectobots come from? Where did Warpath and Dirge and all of those characters come from?
Protectobots just came out of a computerized building that opened out from the front. It's as if to say they were always there.
I think the Takara story is that they arrived on Earth after they left a destroyed Autobot colony. So they aren't from Cybertron initially. They're from one of the colony worlds like Antilles, which was the world that was subject to Cosmic Russ or Paradron. But that was never made into a show, and it may have just been retconned into the continuity to explain away. But we still don't know where most of the 1985 toys came from. They just appeared in Dinobot Islands parts 1 and 2, and then that was that.
And it was very much just like they've always been there. What did you not notice these guys hanging around in the background?
But that was even when they did the Teletran files and sort of introducing the characters for going into season 3. It was like, oh, they've been reunited with it, like Springer, the Mighty Helicopter. Was like,
yeah,
where, why, and why is he practically Sergeant?
But there's so much you could do. You could take the whole thing back to Cybertron. You could see the Autobots sort of have to fall off and retreat to the moon bases. You could roll in stuff in and around sort of Marissa Fairborn and the Earth Defence Force, because you have to assume there would have been some sort of collaboration there for the building of Autobot City. I don't know. I'm speculating. There's a ton of stuff you could fill in that gap, and I genuinely can't believe we've not even had so much as a mini series. I think, and I have to put my hands up and say I didn't read it. The IDW adaptation of the 1986 movie tried to sort of deal with some of the stuff that you're alluding to, Ian, where, oh, look, there's this Battle of Autobot City was going on, but here's this kind of pseudo-deleted scene where Omega Supreme's duking it out with Menasor. So that's really where they were all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's funny you should say that. When for the second Thunderclash anthology that was done for Mary's Meals, I threw a bit of a spanner in the works unintentionally, because I never actually got to follow through with this either. So I threw this bomb for no reason, because originally it was all going to be the writer Joseph. He was just going to do one big story with all of the Thunderclash team. And then I just turned around and said, do you know what? Can I write my own story? And it was exactly what you were saying, Steve, about like a dancing between the raindrops of what was going on during Transformers the movie. And I was going to pick some small bits of like characters doing a bit more or explaining where somebody was. And then I didn't have time. So I completely left it. And the book still became an anthology rather than one main lead story, because I turned around and said, like, I want to write my own thing. And then didn't have time because work kicked up too much. But I'd love to do that kind of thing, to say, like, because you could cherry pick as well. What I'd probably do, to be honest, if I were writing this now, I would ask Lee and Chris McFeely and say, can I have a list of every can I have a list of every character that disappears from season 2 onwards that's not explained, and then you'd follow those guys, because then you could off one of them every so often, and people go, oh my god, okay, I didn't see that coming. Until somebody works out that
what happened to Grapple? Oh yeah, he got killed on page 4 in this story that I'm writing. At least you can work out, rather than seeing him in one scene of the 86 movie and then never again.
Exactly, yeah. There was a lot of characters unaccounted for. And so I think you could do quite a few interesting things with that.
It's worth mentioning it's a fan project that's doing this exact thing, which is Transformers Reanimated, which is based in the cartoon universe, and it's prose stories, but they do commission very lovely covers for each release. And they're doing exactly that. They're telling the stories between the cracks of the animated Sunbow universe. I've not had a chance to actually sit down and read them. There are an awful lot of them now, because it's been going for quite a while. But if anyone's interested in that sort of thing, I would recommend checking them out.
It's not the same people who have been doing the deleted scenes from the 86 movie.
No. This is very much a written and art thing.
Fair. Okay. No, that's good. Yeah, just touching on the point about like characters that just don't exist. When I was a kid watching the movie for one of the first times, I don't think I clocked it was Windcharger who was lying there dead. Oh, yeah, I think I recognised Wheeljack, but I was kind of more focused on Wheeljack, and it was only on screen for a second. And I'm just like, well, there was a lot more mini-bots here. Where'd they gone? What happened to Seaspray? Did he even make it that far?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need to see the story where Seaspray dies horribly.
Yeah. And the world will be happy again, except for Doug. Right. Otherwise. Okay, yeah. Has everyone gone?
No. I was thinking, and this is frustrating actually, because Lee slightly stepped on my idea of topic, because I was going to say, what would you do if you had a new TV series? So I'd already kind of thought about this a bit. But I would, especially this would work if you were going, say, for Skybound to do something else now. I would go completely away from their main story, even further than Void Rivals has, because obviously that's tying in. You can see the Quintesson stuff. I liked the concept of I'm going to say something nice about the Netflix Transformers show now. I like the idea of the mercenaries. I like the idea of factions that just comprise the characters that didn't have anything to do with the main war. I thought that could make a really interesting story if you took characters who they just left Cybertron like a long time ago, and you followed them and give them something interesting, like they are mercenaries, or they're like some kind of ragtag band, and you pick those obscure characters who nobody's ever going to follow, and then make people care about make people care about them.
Yeah, as Mick has also alluded to there with the scavengers from IDW, because that was basically like, I loved the ideas of the scavengers because they were just borderline useless, yet there was enough time to care about them and gave them a bit of a who's left. But you're right to touch on that, because the faction you gave the inclusion of the likes of Double D. It was Double D, wasn't it? For
yes.
yeah.
I mean, if you want a good example of an animated third mercenary faction, you want to look at Cyberverse and Triptychon's crew, which were a bunch of obscure characters who invaded Cybertron after the war had ended, and Triptychon was their boss, and he was like a very corporate, very HR boss.
I'm imagining like the Incredible Hulk in the sort of the mafia suit and looking all very. So I'm trying to imagine Triptychon in a suit.
Like really friendly, but he's like, he's trying to like. Remember, we've got like personality profiles for everyone. How's everyone doing? Are you happy in your pillaging? Have you got everything you want? It was just Triptychon had never been depicted in any kind of form like that. I do recommend watching it if you haven't seen it.
No, I've not. No, not at all.
I think it was the second from the penultimate episode of Cyberverse. It was like a 40-minute special.
Yeah, I think getting factions, and because otherwise, other factions are more. Once you get past Autobot, Decepticon, whatever, Maximal Predacon, you're then looking at combiner teams and ones that are forced together for a common goal. But that's when I loved the scavengers, because it was just like they were outcasts. No one wanted them. So yeah. It was.
You almost need like whether it was Star Wars did the Bad Batch. You almost need the Transformers style Bad Batch comic or show.
That's a good one. Yeah. No, cool. Good one there. Like that. Okay, who wants to go next? Next topic.
We've had everyone now, haven't we?
Well, we had everyone for the. Have we have everyone?
Yeah. I did comics, Steve did cartoon, Sumbo, and David did new series. Have you done one?
Well, I meant next topic to discuss, not so much. Or was that into your question?
Oh yeah, we've all had a topic. I just think we all had similar ideas, but in different focuses.
No, mine was definitely in response to Lee's.
That was more what I was thinking.
Yeah, I'll throw something out there. Something I was thinking about. I'm a big Transformers Prime fan, just in case I had never mentioned it. And David, I think you're quite partial to a bit of Transformers Prime as well, from memory. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I've not seen much of it, actually.
Have you not? Genuinely,
no.
I was.
I'm with you, David. I haven't watched much of it at all.
Steve, brand new Transformers Prime toy.
Yes, I got one of those. That's really well done. But and David, if this doesn't sway you into watching Transformers Prime, then I hope it does. Where I was going to go with, just as a point of discussion, see if people are in agreement, is the Starscream from Transformers Prime. If you look back through Transformers media and sort of alluded to it earlier with how we expect certain things to happen in Transformers. We get certain character types. They introduce Ironhide, so we expect that kind of, or the whole Autobot security guard. We get Cup. We expect the grizzled soldier. Albeit we look at the different takes. You look at Starscream. Look at the Starscream character type. Transformers Prime, for my buck, depicted the best fictional Starscream I believe we've ever had. He was sniveling in all the right ways. He was incompetent in all the right ways. He was Machiavellian in all the right ways. Steve Blum absolutely nailed it from a voice perspective. And I do not believe Starscream has ever been, the Starscream character type has ever been depicted better.
I like, the best thing about that Starscream is his worst enemy was himself. Yeah. Because he kept messing up. When if he just shut up, he would like when he was being held prisoner and he was helping the Autobots, and then he let slip to RC he was the one that murdered Cliffjumper when it was just him and RC, and she's from that point on, she's trying to kill him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the biggest Prime fan, as you know. I have seen on of that Starscream, and I've heard many a good thing about it. There's so much of Starscream to go into. My personal favorite of Starscream was around the Till All Are One comic series, with IDW done by Mairead Scott, and where you have when Starscream very unusually does the right thing, because it's so infrequent that he does it, because he's skiving, because he's evil and sinister and all of that, and the fact that there was a chance that he could come good after kind of ruling Cybertron through a veil of popularity, but he was still Starscream underneath. I love that kind of, as IDW is for me, is a redemption arc. And so,
it was
even in them,
because he murdered his friend and then claimed somebody else had did it so that he could get a boost in the polls. Even when he was trying to be good, evil.
Well, that's core to the character, quite right. But yeah, it's you. Yeah, I prefer that, because he's got to be twisted. He's got to be evil. Then, of course, Skybound came along, changed the story completely.
No tangents to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, change the story by going back to what we know, I suppose. But yeah,
I think the modern comic depictions of Starscream try to explain why he's the way he is. So with IDW, it was because of the way his spark was spawned, and he was supposed to be somebody else, but he was forced into being this person.
Constructed cold.
Yep. And then in this one, he is forced into being evil by Megatron's mind control power, which seems to make him go doolally, but which at the last moment he comes good. In Prime, what happens to this Starscream, which doesn't happen anywhere else, is that this Starscream is shown that there is no way he can ever become the person he thinks he is in his own head. And from that point on, he becomes a loyal soldier. This is still a little bit of a schemer. So his schemes, rather than trying to overthrow Megatron, are trying to push Shockwave to the side, because he's becoming second in command, and that's Starscream's place in the hierarchy. But at the end of Prime, when Megatron dies, Starscream's not gloating. He's heartbroken. He can't believe what's happened. He's trying to go and get his body, and Shockwave has to drag him away. So, yeah, Starscream from Prime is a unique depiction which borrows from other media.
Multiple.
Yeah, but which creates a whole which is entirely its own thing.
Would you say there's elements of Pterosaur in that, apart from the crying of the fallen leader?
No, I think Pterosaur's a thin pastiche, a thin parody of Starscream, and he does get his occasional episodes where he gets to show that he's conniving, but there's no character growth. So that's why it was so easy to chuck him in the lava. And
also, Pterosaur's not smart conniving. Like, Pterosaur's a moron.
He's some Starscream conniving. He announces to everyone he's conniving what he's doing. But
he will fly. He will fly directly into a mountain.
Yeah,
just because he
Megatron is far less tolerant than G1 Megatron.
I think one of the main takeaways from this is I'm just genuinely shocked at how little Transformers Prime David Cousens has seen.
I know
mate. I think I'm right in saying that they're all quite freely available on the Hasbro Pulse channel on YouTube.
Oh,
so you've got no excuse. No excuse.
I feel this feels like an interjection now. If anything, an intervention. It's like you've got to watch this now. If anything, watch it now. End the stream. Go home. And
I'll log off now. Yeah.
I had to watch Prime twice, so I watched it when it originally premiered all the way through, but it felt like it was devolving into a MacGuffin of the week.
It does. It does fall into that writing. No, 100%.
Once the relics of Alpha Trion become a thing, they're just constantly in an arms race to see who gets the next one, because that's more powerful than the one they got before. Once they get rid of that idea and they just concentrate on the characters again, then it gets better. But there's a lot of character growth in there. There's a lot of interpersonal stuff happening with different characters. It does add to the lore positively.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I tell you, I will take what you said.
And I will say,
And I will do nothing with it.
I will say, Prime Megatron is Frank Welker's best acting.
A lot of people
I'll go
have said
with
that.
Now,
A lot of
okay,
people
Welker
said
being a voice actor, he performs a role and he does a job, and at the end of the day, that's done. He is given good writing. He is given good direction. He's allowed to practice his craft rather than just be a guy voicing a character in a cartoon. He's allowed to act a character in a show with motivation.
From what I've
Okay,
seen,
that is selling
it's
it to
like-
me.
yeah, what I've seen, like when you think of G1 Megatron Sunbow cartoon, he's very kind of Adam West Batman in that kind of almost camp. Like, oh, Decepticons retreat. That's all he did. I remember thinking that as a kid. That's all he did. And then when you draw it in comparison to Prime Megatron, there's a cynicism. Like it really comes across like he leans into the evil side, and he doesn't look quite such a pushover anymore.
Even Megatron goes on a journey from how he is at the start of Prime to how he is at the very end of Prime, which no other Megatron apart from IDW did. So at that time,
David, there will be a test in Birmingham at TF Nation. So you've got about 8 weeks, by my reckoning, to sort yourself out.
and also
I will say that I haven't seen this either. So David's just getting all of the pressure on this and just
Yeah.
I'm getting away with this.
I accidentally became a lightning rod to draw it away from you.
A very
And it has-
gorgeous lightning rod, I might add.
it has 3 of the most badass Soundwave moments ever.
Yes.
One
There's been
where
some bad
one
aspects.
when he's putting Arachnid in her place, 2 when he takes on Wheeljack, and 3 when he's captured by the Autobots.
Well, maybe I
In-
now have to watch it.
Yeah, Ian. In fact, to throw this one out, if this doesn't reinforce it for you, nothing will. B, who is, as you well know, completely and utterly nonplussed about Transformers in any way, shape, or form, and if she could light a match to every single plastic robot toy that was in our house, she would freely do so. Even she turned around, sort of seeing lots of stuff over my shoulder, and even she has turned around and said, I love that depiction of Starscream. That is phenomenally done.
Yeah,
Christopher
I'm not. But
the whole series, all 3 seasons, he tolerated me watching it while he was in the room. That's how good it is.
I will say as well, I don't believe for 1 second that B is not, indoctrinated by the Transformers love now. She's well into it, as we've seen.
I'll let you tell
yeah.
that.
I would not be so brazen, but yeah. No, that's
David, you're on mute.
that's. Oh yes, you're very sparkly though.
Thank you. I did that because I didn't want to be distracted. I already knew I was going to set off some light. I didn't want to make loads of noise.
It's like you've gone into the smoking section outside of a wine bar.
Yes.
Yeah, how is All Bar One, by the way?
Yeah, what I was going to all I was going to say was I find it kind of hard to watch stuff at the moment because I'm the only person in this house that likes Transformers out of 5 people. And they all complain if I watch something that nobody else likes.
That is a shame. That's where comments come in, because you can just flick through your iPad or whatever you're
Yes,
reading.
I can. I try to read them traditionally as much as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's I will try to watch them though. I'm not quite sure how, but I will try to watch them.
There you go, Steve. See, there you go.
I
He's committed.
I promise.
Promise by 80th Nation does not specify which year.
We'll give you an easy one. Watch the 5-part pilot, and by the time
Yeah, that's very good.
Okay.
The episodes aren't like Cyberverse, are they? When they're like 10
they're proper
minutes.
TV show.
No, they're conventional. Yeah.
Because Prime was the flagship show of the Hub, which was Hasbro's own television station. It was like the main thing. They threw a lot of money at it, which is why it looks so good even now, because they funded it like a prime time television show.
This question has just come into the chat here, and David, I don't know if you're in a position to answer about this. Do any of you guys know how to get a Transformers story published? I would like to know because I'm writing a story. I want to share it with my fellow Transformers fans.
Wattpad, if you just want to put it online and have people be able to access and read it and place comments on it so you can get some feedback. So if you're just
Wattpad, yes.
Yeah, WATTPAD. If you just want to get people to view your work, if you just want it out there, then as a fan, that's probably one of the best places to do it.
Yeah, to echo Lee, I would say the best thing to do is find some way of either just publishing it online or self-publishing if you want to have a physical copy. Because Skybound obviously is very closed doors. They're picking who they're working with. I mean, right now, Robert Kirkman's writing 2 of the books, which are covering everything. So it's even like if you're like a very established writer, you're not going to just get their attention and get something written right now. Also, as it is, I'm desperately trying to get on the covers. So it's I'm trying to find somebody who
you will. It's in a matter of time. You're too good not to.
There's always charity magazines and comics that are being done for conventions and things. But again, you need to have your work out there for people to be able to read it. You can't just look up to someone and expect them to take on what you've produced simply because you're really enthusiastic about it. You have to actually be able to prove that you can write and that the quality of the story is good enough that someone would trust you with a task to produce something for their publication. I speak from a wargaming background where we have people who really want a job in the wargaming industry, but it's not just as easy of saying, I really like this thing, please can I have a job? If we're hiring an artist, or if we're hiring a sculptor, or if we're hiring a writer, we're hiring those people before we're hiring a fan. Because if you give you a commission to sculpt a boat, you need to be able to sculpt a boat. You can't just say, I really like boats, and then try and pass off something that you think looks like a boat.
And so certainly what you're... Go on, David.
That's fantastic advice across for any creative pathway you want to do, whether it's writing, art, and anything. There are loads and loads and loads of people who are very enthusiastic about something and think, I'd love to do that. And you need to prove it. It's like because there are so many people out there who like the idea of something, and then when they try it, they fail, they fall at a certain hurdle, and they can't see it through. And so before anybody's ever going to take a chance on you for anything creatively, you've got to have already proven you could do it. Like much like with writing, it's the same. Like when I've drawn stuff, it's like I've had editors who get surprised when I want to do something different, and I didn't realize you could do that. And it's for a while when I was younger, I used to be very much like, well, yeah, of course I can draw one thing, I could draw another, but that's not actually true. And every skill set is really, really broad. And so if you want anybody to take a chance on you, you will need to say, like, here's my body of work, it's here. Yeah. Let's make something together.
Yeah, if you have a portfolio published out there, even if it is in the free scape for anyone to read and comment on, but it's out there, getting your name out there has to be the first thing. And then if it's good enough, people will gravitate towards you.
Yeah, nepotism also helps. So I actually have short stories that have been published in books that people have paid money to buy and have. But that's because I worked for the company and they really needed short stories. And I said, I'll write something. We now have professional writers who have a long list of credits in the industry and who are now paid good money to sit down in a room all day and just write. So my chances of getting another story published are quite small. And to be honest, although I've written a couple of really good ones that I think are really good, I've also written a lot of crap. And people have explained to me why they're not good. And I've understood what they mean and agreed with them. So really, part of the impetus to get stuff out there is so that people can look at it and give you constructive criticism. Some people will just be mean, but that's the internet. If people give you constructive criticism, take it on board, try and understand what they're telling you, and step away from your work and just try to imagine integrating those lessons and how that would improve what you've done. So I've looked in the chat. You say you've got 40 scripts of my own. Don't be surprised if once people have seen them and you've had some feedback, that maybe you want to go back and change things about it. Even if that has knock-on effects for your overall continuity, it may be that once those changes have been made, it's a much, much better story. And it also shows that you can take on board notes, which you will get if you move into a professional writing.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, notes and feedback. That, to be honest, is one of the other big ways how you know you're going to survive in an industry. If you can receive stuff on something you've made and not take it personally, and try to understand where they're coming from, what their point of view is, why somebody said that. They won't always be accurate. Sometimes you might be right and they'll be wrong, and you can always like fight for your point there. But you've got to have the maturity to say, like, okay, they've said this for a certain reason. I would have gone this way, but I can also see the benefit of why they're saying to do this.
Yeah.
And
when it's your own fan thing, you can do whatever you want because it's your content.
Yes, yeah.
You want it to be that way, fine. And if somebody gives you feedback, you don't have to take it.
You don't have to take it. Yeah.
We want. If you did want to do something more professionally, you have to take the notes. So if you're really attached to a character doing something, and the person who's paying you says, "No, do this instead," you either do it or you walk.
Yeah.
You're not telling your story anymore. You're telling their story. They have hired you to do the actual nitty-gritty work, but you have to follow the vision that they have paid you to create.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Right. Yeah, it's a very good point. Okay, I will go with my next topic, if I may. And it's one I brought up before, but only because I saw a news article on it. And I actually shoved it in ChatGPT just because I didn't really know what it was meaning. I was like, please summarize this. But it's basically around the CEO, Chris Cox, is it, of Hasbro, saying about wanting to spend $1 billion on a video game business, or Hasbro have done since 2018, and talking about how they want to really use some of their licenses to make a AAA level video game. But then I was trying to read what had been quoted. It was incredibly contradictory. So if I was kind of saying, like, because he mentioned about wanting to use the licenses like Magic the Gathering, Transformers, and there was another one as well, which I can't, for some reason, Monopoly comes up, and Dungeons and Dragons, which I think is actually getting a video game. That seems to ring a bell.
I mean, Dungeons and Dragons, are you specifically talking about a faction? Because Baldur's Gate is Dungeons and Dragons, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, I think Baldur's Gate is a Dungeons and Dragons game. I don't think there are plenty of Dungeons and Dragons games, but they've never been called Dungeons and Dragons. They've always been called something else.
See, I'm not Dungeons and Dragons by trade, so a lot of it goes over my head. But I was really trying to work out, is Hasbro trying to go into making AAA video games? For those who don't know, AAA is like your Call of Duties, Last of Us, big, heavy-hitting titles, Grand Theft Auto to the same point. But I'm reading it now, and it's very iffy. The main takeaway, just a line at the bottom, I'll give you a summary of it. Hasbro is betting that traditional premium RPG gaming and action-adventure games are safer and more sustainable investment than chasing highly competitive live service markets, which I'm guessing is like
the live service
Fortnite kind of
dead anyway. It doesn't work. There have been so many very expensive failures in the live service market where you've got games that come out, promise a 5-year content schedule and then a close.
What does live service market mean? Sorry, just
where you subscribe.
Massively multiplayer on, is that MMOs?
Yeah.
Is that
like World of Warcraft, but more like the shooting games where you just play multiplayer.
Oh, well, like a Fortnite.
Yes. Yes.
Fine. Okay, that's what that is.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, Lee's already explained it enough. I don't need to do that twice.
My problem with this is Hasbro has jumped on these trends before. We've already mentioned the hub, where Hasbro wanted to become a TV producer, and then they wanted to become a movie producer. And as soon as they didn't get immediate success, they've rolled over, sold all of their assets, and tried to refocus on toys until the next thing comes along. The problem with creating a AAA game, apart from all the issues that the video game industry has at the moment with labor relations, executive, basically being a successful game producer is not going to save you from being made redundant, because a large studio like EA will come along, see you've made a really successful game, buy your studio,
buy it, yeah.
Then as the year end comes along, they're going to sack everyone, because that then takes a chunk of their overheads off the balance sheet, but they still own the IP, which they can then price at whatever they want to make them seem more profitable. And then you'll never see another Mass Effect. You'll never see another Balatro or whatever the current game is. So I don't think Hasbro is dynamic or ruthless enough to be able to be successful in the industry. I know their CEO has a background in video games, but the huge amounts of investment that will be required to get a game off the ground, which then has very little chance of becoming big enough to justify that investment. I don't see Hasbro making a go of it. They're not a video game company.
They're not, no. And I think when I'm looking at it, I think the best analogy is how Transformers 1 did at the box office, and how they then view themselves as a movie producer or anything like it. And it was just run at the first sign of trouble. And as you said before, Lee, the video game market is so on a knife edge. You have to either make so much money hand over fist, like a Grand Theft Auto will, like a FIFA, like those huge titles, kind of guaranteed income. And if you don't, it could be a death sentence. And Hasbro seemed to run at the first sign of trouble anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Rise never.
Yeah, because I mean, somebody in the comments mentioned it. Like Reactivate. We had a few toys turn up, and then that was brushed under the water.
But the money that you need just to market a game, so like the Game Awards, you get all those trailers in the Game Awards. A 30-second trailer is $1 million. So is Hasbro going to drop $1 million on 30 seconds, which, if we look at Reactivate, will be some abstract cinematic which tells you nothing about what the game is, shows no Transformers whatsoever, and leaves people scratching their heads about what the fuck was that? Pardon my friend.
I mean, I still find it funny to mention. I say this every time I get a chance in. Splash Damage are literally up the road from where I live. I still see them, and I see. Well, I remember when Reactivate got shelved and the funding got pulled. I think they had to lay off a third of their workforce, so there was a big chunk of money there. Because I used to see them all walking around in their hoodies and zippies, walking around town, and I tried, believe me, I say it every time, to get in there to try and get like a sneak peek at, I was like, I'm a local lad, come on, let me in. And it was great to see that Statue of Liberty crash shot, and then just nothing. It just evaporated. So do I see Hasbro going into that? No.
Hasbro wants to be like what all these big companies want to be these days. They don't want to produce anything. They want to be an IP company. They want to have their bit of paper that says we own it.
Yeah.
And then they give it to someone. Say, give me $100,000 and you can go and do whatever you want with this. And then they just sit back and they watch the money roll in without having to spend a penny.
And that's what they want to do with the film following Transformers 1. But the thing is, this contradicts what the CEO has been saying in interviews, because he said before this video game interview, saying about how Hasbro wants to be a multimedia company. I'm like, oh, they fine.
Multimedia company before, and it failed. So it's going to be a leadership thing. So the board has to have confidence in the CEO. The CEO has to have a very clear vision of how the company will take its assets and convert them into a new product, which will do what they want it to do. And they have to understand that if they fail at the beginning, they have to look at why they failed. And if there's lessons to be learned, try again. But what we know Hasbro does is that they fail and they just shut it all down, write it off as a tax write-off, and then go back to doing toys until the next fad comes along.
You've only got to look at the Loyal Subjects mask toys, and I fully appreciate that the Loyal Subjects mask toys were not faultless, and there was some justifiable criticism aimed at those. But to go back to Lee's point about them wanting to be an IP company, whatever criticism was leveled at Loyal Subjects, those mask toys pretty much sold through. Their pre-orders were huge. To the point that they ended up being about 6-8 months later than the original release date, because Loyal Subjects couldn't keep up with the factory space. So how are Hasbro not in a position to be dealing with their own intellectual property that they've had to farm it out to effectively a third party? Because all they want to do is, you deal with that, we'll just wait for the check to come in, all the risks on you. Hasbro are not, from a business perspective, and I say this as somebody who knows nothing about business because of the industry that I work in, I don't have to have anything to do with it, thankfully. But they don't like risk. They are not risk takers. They are not innovative enough, because they will constantly fall back to toys.
It's also worth noticing that Hasbro's biggest lines are Star Wars, Marvel, Transformers, and G.I. Joe. So of the two biggest selling ones, I don't think I'm selling anyone short by saying that probably Star Wars outsells Transformers by quite a margin, and Marvel will fluctuate depending on whether there's a popular movie or TV show out at the time. But they have to pay the license for that, so they're making money off of the actual products they're selling, but they don't own Star Wars and don't own Marvel. Anything Transformers related, there's going to be money coming back to Hasbro. Nothing else that they own, and they own a lot of licenses because they've bought up Galoob, they bought up Kenner, is going to be generating the kind of income that Transformers does. So if they're going to try anything, they're going to try it with Transformers first. So we will see a lot of crap with the Transformers logo on it.
Yeah.
And hopefully there will be one pearl in that oyster which will give us another Fall of Cybertron rather than giving us another Earthspark Battle Arena or whatever the latest game was.
That's the thing that really bothers me, is the fact that we had it, and they're talking about, I mean, it just says to me that Hasbro don't listen to the audience. Like, we had War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron. When people keep clamoring for how good it was and what, do you think at any point they just put it into Google and say, what do our fans think? There you go. There's a summary. Maybe we target it that way. And it's just, no, we're happy to go down with the next company who wants to take this on, because you're right. They want to be an IP company. They want people to go to them with a check in hand saying, here you go, here's some money. And we want zero risk. But then, lo and behold, no one comes along to that and takes on 100% of the risk.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Oh, go on, David, go on.
I was going to use Fall of Cybertron as a good example, or a shame, because the Transformers films that they took on, the games that they took on, killed the company. And Hasbro doesn't care. It's like they had the Fall of Cybertron games were great, but then Hasbro said, okay, we want, and I can't remember the details specifically, so if somebody feel free to correct me. They also got them to do one of the Michael Bay movie games. And that was rushed. That was pushed out way faster than High Moon could actually make. And so then High Moon, they just financially couldn't recover. And so, like you said, Hasbro don't want the rest. They want people to come to them. But it's a bit of a poison chalice, because you're asking a company to spend, it's going to be the majority of their resources, which they've also got to pay, so they're not getting everything back, because the license is, like, they've got to pay off Hasbro with everything on top of the cost of making the game in a niche market game to start off with. And if they've got a good game that they can make anyway, they're more likely to try to go, okay, let's make this internally, we get more of the money back, and the risk won't destroy the entire company.
And also, you've got So if you've got a game with a story to it, and the characters are doing things that Hasbro doesn't like, Hasbro just says no. So all of a sudden, Optimus Prime can't. If you really want that story to happen the way that you've envisioned it, Optimus Prime now can't be your main character. You have to use someone that Hasbro doesn't really care that much about. So let's say Fizzle. Fizzle's now your main character. Who the hell is Fizzle? I do. You don't know who Fizzle is. Yet he's going to act in a way that the studio wanted. It's just not going to work, because otherwise you have to compromise your vision for the game. And if you compromise something too much, it's no longer going to be of the same quality that it may have been. So if you're taking, you have to understand you're using someone else's characters, and those characters have to behave in a way which is true to their history. It's not like with a comic. With a comic, you can be subversive. If you're releasing,
that's what I was going to argue. Yeah,
you need to appeal to a broad audience, and unfortunately, people don't like to hear this, but us 40-something adult fans are not the main focus of Hasbro's market research. Making a new product.
What, mind blown?
Toy line, which is why things like Cyber World, Cyberverse, Earthspark, all of that sort of stuff happens, and they are the main focus. Fans are a big part of the income, and they're growing, but until we're like 60% of the IP's income stream, our wants and our thoughts are not going to be that important, because a child doesn't know what they want. You have to think what they want and then create something for them. And then that's not what we want, so we'll be grumpy and we'll say, oh, they're dumbing down. They're not. They're performing their role. They're creating a child's product for a child from a child's property.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, the only thing I was going to add to it is to say, when you do a video game, it's going to basically be the same characters doing the same story. But why is that different to a comic? Because, again, coming back to Beast Wars, Gathering and Ascending, Razor Beast. Hasbro were not going to cry out for Razor Beast to be the main character. He was the main character, and he was a hero to the point that over in Japan, he is a huge character based on some of these sort of one-shot stories that Hasbro wouldn't cry about some random warthog. But they could make Razor Beast do whatever they wanted, but they can't do that with Optimus Prime. He's going to do one of three things.
Yeah.
So but why is that okay for a comic and not so much for a video game?
The entire story of Beast Wars is because Hasbro didn't care. Hasbro considered Transformers was a dead property once G2 They were happy to just stick it in the vault and never touch it again, because that was what happened in the 80s. You had a new IP came along. Maybe it was popular for a while, then it went away and never came back. That's why they gave it to Kenner. They didn't want to do it. They didn't care what happened to it. They just said to Kenner, do what you want. And they came up with animals that turn into robots, which a lot of people, and myself included at the beginning, said, that's not Transformers, I'm not interested. Yet it was massively popular, rightly so. And it changed the way that we view Transformers entirely. It saved the brand. We're missing something like that. But again, it involves an element of risk that today's corporate America is unwilling to take.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's I reading that kind of interview today, or I read it today. I just thought, I don't see you going to video games. I don't for how they retreated from Transformers 1, and then talking around like saying, "Oh, we're not going to follow the Fortnite world," even though they've sort of done that a little bit with the the Battleships game, and they were sort of like, "Yeah, you can have a Transformers skin, and Optimus Prime can be a destroyer," and it was like, "Yeah, okay, that's what I want." If I'm a ship enthusiastic to make it look like Optimus Prime. I don't.
Bumblebee was the main character of certain games. Well, Bumblebee is as popular as Optimus Prime in the modern age.
Oh, very much
so. 2007, Bumblebee is on par with Optimus Prime as far as brand awareness goes. There's a phrase for you: brand awareness. That's why all these timelines released Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Megatron, and Starscream. No matter if they're turning into or whatever, it's going to be those four characters over and over again.
Yeah. Oh, but it's been said, isn't it? Big 6 characters, and maybe you could throw in a Hot Rod Galvatron and next tier down. But I mean, it's not to say it can't be done. It's not to say you can't do it, but it's, yeah, I don't know. I don't have faith in it. And I think, as we were talking about earlier with Skybound and the direction that's going, I don't know. I'm not even sure of it as a multimedia at the moment. It's fine at making toys. I'll say that much.
It's a sad thing, which I think Lee touched on. It kind of happens in all creative fields right now. Every single company feels like they're just going for a safe choice, and they want to make money, and they want control over it. And so it's going to be the same characters. It's going to be the same people. They're going to do the exact same things because they know it's safe. They'll get some money back. Nobody wants to lose their job or their yachts or their mistress's yachts or any of these things. It's the real creativity.
Oh, mistress.
I was going to, well, you know.
I chose that order.
Yeah, I think the real creativity does, like with Beast Wars, like Lee said, it's when people don't care or they get told, like, do you know what? Yeah, take this, like, make something. You let the creative people do what they want to do and have fun, and they'll take risks and they'll create new characters, or they'll really drastically reinvent characters, that kind of stuff, and just like keep a fraction of the core concept. And you get much more interesting work, and then people respond to it. But unfortunately, I saw an interview with the guy who helped spearhead the original Spider-Verse film, and he was saying something to the effect of, "It wouldn't happen now because for some reason they were at this brief period in time they were allowed to just make stuff up, and they were doing stuff like the entire look of the film even weeks before." When they had they did the chromatic aberration instead of blurring for the effects. People from the studio were kind of like, "Are you not going to fix that?" And like, "Oh yeah, no, that's fine, it's fine, don't worry." And of course, it was like their stylistic choice, and they were allowed to do it, and they were allowed to go crazy.
Make it sound like they actually tricked people. They weren't allowed to do it. They just did.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. This is
huge.
Yeah.
And that's the way it gets passed. And then now, like 10 years down the line, everybody's like, "Can you make it look like Spider-Verse, please?" And like, okay,
Yeah.
but what made Spider-Verse good was that they were allowed creative control, and the artists were doing individual things. Like, yeah, I know, but if we could do that, like, kind of animate it on twos and do that, it's like, oh, geez, you've missed all the important lessons.
Yeah, it's the fact that it happened by accident and it was well received. Well, it happened by accident. It was allowed to happen by accident, I think I should say. It's very much done with intent. But then looking back at it, saying, well, it worked, so let's do it again. Well, no, it worked because it was kind of its own thing. It worked because it was different, and it's its own bubble, which is why, and I bang on about it a lot, this is why Beast Wars is so great, because it is completely different and therefore fun. But I would say that on the podcast.
Just one final thing for me. When I was talking about my topic about comics, I mentioned that a lot of the stories that I really wanted to hear were touched upon by fans back very early on. Thing is, some of the best modern Transformer stories ended up being told by those same people who managed to get into the industry and get jobs with comic companies. Yeah. And tell us those stories. And the other side of that is that you have highly professional people in animation. So with Beast Wars, you had Larry Ditello, Bob Forward, who, if you look at their IMDb, they worked on a lot of stuff which we still fondly remember, like He-Man. And the stuff that they did was making the characters more compelling. Rather than just being an episode of the week, the best episodes were the ones where you learned a bit about those characters, like Teela being the Sorceress's daughter, or He-Man having a twin sister, or the Brave Star pilot, which was so much better than the Brave Star series, even though it did a lot of important topics. And then if you look at Prime shares the same creative team as Rescue Bots and as Earthspark. And those people really care about telling a story with the characters that they're given to use. And it's the passion. If you have the people who have passion for the characters and the IP that they're given, even though they have to work within a structure which is given to them by corporate entities who are only really interested in generating profit for this particular period that this line is going to last. They can work within that to give us something special. So I think that's what we need to rely on. Just people who are passionate about telling stories, being given the opportunity to tell a story with the thing that we love.
Yeah.
So again, it comes back to that appetite from Hasbro, but I do think you're right.
It's like David, trick them, lie to them,
Yeah.
let them think they're getting what they asked for, and then it's too
Bullshit
late.
the best way you can. Yeah,
It's lying, but it's for greater good.
Yeah, it's called a white lie. Tell them what they need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say watch the
Okay.
new He-Man movie before you make a judgment, because you can't trust anything you read on the internet, because people will hate on stuff just for the sake of hating on it.
Oh,
Read
God.
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the movie. Yeah. Okay, good one there. Thank you. Who would like to go next for their topic?
I've done mine.
You guys sitting back now.
Yeah, mine kind of got.
Talk about this incredibly rare ratchet I got today. Isn't that
You can
amazing?
talk about that if you like. I have a feeling, just kind of looking at kind of your blank reaction there, that you're all collectively spent.
No, this
You are especially spent because I know how much that cost.
Is that the one you picked up last week? That's not the. Oh, no, that was the custom class one, wasn't it? That's the box, right? Sorry,
This is the actual .com, which is
from
a
Towline, isn't it?
Yep, with a new head.
Yeah.
Which they made.
And I remember the price tag.
Yeah, that.
So
I'm not going to say it, but I remember it.
Ian would like to hear folks' thoughts on the Takara series. So Takara obviously followed G1 on with the 3 Takara series. We had Headmasters, Masterforce, and Victory. As the grown-up usses all now know, and the much younger usses did not. I appreciate various decisions were made around the Transformers animated, the G1 animated show as we went into the rebirth. It was obviously viewing figures were down, which is why they only felt they could justify a 3-episode kind of finale to wrap it all up. But if it had continued and they felt there was legs in it, do you think that the Headmaster series would have worked had it been brought over to the West and dubbed over by the actual Transformers voice cast?
No.
Do you know? Yeah, I'm going to give
straight
you.
in there. No,
I'm going to give you a longer. I'm going to give you a longer answer to the word no. I need to watch it. I can't bring myself to watch it, but what I have seen of it over the years, but the thing is, it looks bad. Like when I watch even bits of, it's
very
just
slow.
it doesn't even make sense.
Are better than Headmasters, but
Yes,
there's a lot.
Masterforce is brilliant. Masterforce is brilliant. I've got such a soft spot for Masterforce. But I was referring to Headmasters quite specifically because it does follow on with that very, very familiar cast of characters from season 3.
I do look at Rebirth finishing season 4 in such an oddity, as much as I absolutely love it, and it really sods up the ending of Transformers. For me, the ending is the Return of Optimus Prime Part 2. That's what it needs to be. It ends well.
Oh, good,
Hate Plague, and I'm like, there's your run off to the sunset. Fine. Oh look, we're coming back. We're still doing a war, and it feels awkward. And Galvatron goes flying off that we don't see in the Western world again. And like, oh, we had a nice ending. Why did you ruin it? So I like it, and it sits kind of awkwardly nowhere. To the point then, when I look at Japan, when I look at the Headmaster series there, the fights that happen between the characters look nonsensical. And even by Japan stuff, it's weird. And yeah, I look at some of the Masterforce and Victory stuff. I see a lot of Gundam in it. And I think that's intentional. And I don't say that as a criticism, but I see a bit more of I see a less Transformer-y direction.
See, now, I don't agree with that, because having watched a lot of Gundam, I don't see that myself. I do.
I'll be honest. I've only dabbled with Gundam, to be fair.
Well, there you go. You're saying it looks like something you've not actually watched. So,
I've watched it, just not much of it.
This other series,
I've watched Endless Waltz. I've dabbled it before. I can tell you a little bit about it, but I realised just quite how much of Gundam there was, and I was like, I'm not prepared to go that far back.
Well, Gundam as well, is like Transformers, is it has different continuities which are completely unconnected with one another. What I have to if you're looking at the Takara series, you have to understand that there are cultural differences in how stories are structured and told between the West and Japan, which is why things like Armada, the Unicron trilogy, is a bit of a slog because it works within the traditions of Japanese animated series storytelling. It doesn't really work for us because it's quite long-winded and boring. The reason I said no was because I have watched Headmasters as the way it was intended in the West with the horrible star dub.
Oh yeah, that's awful.
Where they use the Western names, apart from Billy and the like.
Philip and Sparkle and everybody else that was in there.
And no, I don't think it does, because again, it is written by a Japanese writer for a Japanese audience of children. It is sculpted. It does draw from the original G1 series because they had the exact same series that we did. But again, look at Beast Wars in Japan. They took mainframe series and they turned it into a comedy. They dubbed it over. Yeah. It was far more comical than it was in the West because they got hold of it and they thought, "Ooh, this doesn't really work for us. We'll do something else with it." I do think it is worth watching. Watch it subtitled because there's a lot of important character lore that this series created. So 6-shot, Chrome Dome, the way the master process works. It's all different, but it's all its own thing. So I do recommend watching it, but I don't think it would have worked coming straight over. Now, had we had a season 4, I reckon it would have followed the same pattern. So we would have had episodes that would have focused on a character that maybe either the writers were interested in or Hasbro said, we want to sell a lot of this toy. So we would have had a 6-shot episode. We would have had a Fortress Maximus episode. I would have liked to have seen another 65 episodes because that was how long a series was back then, which would have bled into 1988. So that towards the end, we've then got Power Master Prime. And maybe we would have had a Western release of Overlord because Galvatron's toy probably would have been discontinued by that point. You'd need another big bad.
Need a villain, yeah.
They didn't have one in 1988. There was no leader of the Decepticons, really. In the comics, it was still Scorponok and Megatron. So maybe an upgraded Megatron toy. And then we would have had maybe the odd 2-parter, which was a really good episode that we all think about. And then the one where, say, Highbrow goes to the planet made of farts is the one that people use to justify the fact that they should never have made that series in the first place.
Oh, no.
Have you seen that script?
I mean, how you sell it and then you take it away so quickly.
That's
would you say, you know, the way the Japanese did take Beast Wars and rewrote it for them? I haven't seen enough of Headmasters to know whether this would be workable. But would it be workable to take the art that exists for it and then completely ignore what's going on and just fit a story to the visuals that works better for the Western audience?
I mean, you would have to completely disregard the rebirth because in the Japanese series, the headmasters are actually the heads, and the heads are robots, and they just wear the large characters as bodies. So there are not two people joining into one being, and that would follow through to Master Force because, again, it's all transtectors, lifeless bodies.
Lifeless,
a little dude. I think you could do it because we forget that a lot of the anime became big in the 90s, and when it became big, it was big because it was full of sex and it was full of violence and it was full of gore. But you actually forget that we watched a lot of anime as kids. Dogtanian, Mysterious Cities of Gold,
Ulysses 31,
all the different versions of Mazinger Z and the big giant robots, Voltron. That was all anime.
Robotech, I mean, a prime example, Robotech.
So it has been proven that can be done. I just don't think that if you were a Transformers fan and you were watching that, you would see the differences. You would know that something had happened.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
Even if you still had the same voice cast.
I think when I look at sort of how Western G1 just abruptly ends, it makes me sad because season 3 was not my favorite, but season 3 going into how it finishes off, Rodimus feeling unworthy, return of Optimus Prime, and then rebirth. I don't know. It feels like it felt a bit of a hard ending, and abruptly they just went purely on the figures. The fact everything nosedived after the '86 movie, and I look at the Japanese audience and I think it's such a shame because it sort of divides the fandom, as if to say, well, that's only for Japanese audiences, and Western audiences just really don't want anything to do with it. But it's like I say,
an episode I would have liked to have seen, maybe it'd be a 2-parter, but Hot Rod finds himself thrown into a situation where he has to take charge, and he doesn't want to do it because he's had to do that before and he wasn't there to do it. And he finds himself going up against Galvatron, and he's trying to cope with it all, but Firebolt doesn't understand why he's got all these feelings. So Firebolt will be his proxy where he's explaining everything about, I had all this responsibility and never thought I was good enough, Optimus Prime, blah, 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 blah. Galvatron's mocking him and saying, oh, you're no Prime. It was always easy fighting you. You were useless, blah, blah, blah. And then he has that journey of, I was the reason that Prime died. I then killed him again with the whole dark, whatever it was called. And then he comes back and he just takes over, and then I fuck off and just go and live my life as I want. But now here I am stuck in the same position again. Maybe even he's traveling with Prime and Prime gets injured and he can't command, and he tells Hot Rod, you've done this before, you take over. And he goes straight back to that feeling of being inadequate. Because what's Optimus said? What should we do? Well, I'm telling you, we need to do this. Yeah, but let's go ask Optimus just in case.
Yeah, but that's the cornerstone of the Hot Rod character, and the fact that he's almost destined to be in that Groundhog Day loop of just not being worthy enough.
This story would have given us our closure. It would have given him his.
It would have done.
He's found at the end of it. He finds his role within the Autobot ranks, and he gains people's respect. Because also, what do the other Autobots think about the fact that he's just given up the Matrix and all his responsibility to Optimus? Who is happy about it for different reasons, and who's not so happy about it?
Yeah,
that would be
that's a good point.
I would love that. Actually,
I can't write it.
A good way.
If someone else wants to write it, feel free.
No, that's fair enough. Okay, well, that's good chat for the evening. I think we covered off a lot of topics. So what we'll do is we'll just go around and just say thank you very much to all my co-hosts joining me this evening, and where you can find them on various platforms and what projects they may have coming up that they don't have NDAs signed for. And I'm definitely looking at the bottom right corner.
You are.
I say that.
Yes.
So deep into his eyes. Well, we'll start with you, actually, Mr. Cousens. What can you tell us that you are working on?
Oh God.
Give us something. Don't say it's a drawing.
Do you know what's really bugging me is that there's something which I really want to talk about and I can't say it yet. And it's
don't say that then.
No, because it's all when you it's like don't think of a brown elephant. The first thing you do is think of the brown elephant. It's there. It's kind of jumping in. I think I know a lot of people would be interested in it as well.
Stop it. Stop teasing.
The stuff I can talk about is I will be. I mean, it's scary. Steve, when you said it was like 8 weeks away to TF Nation, I thought, oh god,
yeah, TF Nation.
No, that's good. But no, as far as my schedule, I was like, oh god, because I've got to do. I'm doing the official artwork again for TF Nation, for that kind of official thing they give away. I will be hopefully making the Predacons section to that Beast Wars, the Maximals illustration that I did. To be honest, with 8 weeks, that's probably the stuff I could be doing alongside my other stuff. There is various indie projects I'm working on. I'm doing covers again for a number of Dynamite comic stuff. There may be some more work for Boom as well. Boom Publishing. So yeah, you will definitely be seeing more comic stuff from me fairly soon. And if you follow me on anywhere on social media, at David Cousens, you will see me completely talking about it all the goddamn time. And yeah, it'll be very, very good fun. And also, in the meantime, if you go over to my coffee page and go buy some prints and keep it busy.
That's already in the description. I've already tagged it. It's down there.
Awesome.
Do go do so. And people, stop taking David's artwork and put it up as your own, because I'll find you. I will go full Liam Neeson on you. And I will report you.
It's so good when you do that. I love that.
I know. I feel like I'm getting brownie points with it. But yeah, the Predacon side of that print, that's going to be great to see. That will be done in time for TFN?
That's the plan. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
It is kind of, it's at the moment, there's a number of things I've got to do at the same time on the run up to TFN, and it's scary, but that's normally when I get my best stuff done. So,
David, I've just crunched the numbers real quick. 8 weeks, there are 65 episodes of Transformers Prime, which means you only need to watch 8 episodes a week. You'll be fine.
Or, counter argument, you could be doing your drawings with that on in the background, and you can just tell Steve that it has played. You could even show him like a play record on YouTube. Say, "See, I watched it."
Yeah,
you just had it.
Yeah. It's an incredibly dynamically animated show. It deserves to be watched.
That's what I was going to say, because otherwise, if I've got it on the background while I'm drawing, I'm just going to be able to. I go, like, Steve, what do you think? I go, well, the theme song went. Da, 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 da.
It's like it sounded great. What do you think of the visuals?
Brilliant. Sorry, Steve, you're telling me this wasn't a radio play?
I was going to say, it sounds like the Archers, doesn't it? Oh, no, that's great. Looking forward to seeing your work as always, Mr. Cousens. And yeah, your damn NDAs, how dare you? Fine. Steve, we'll go on to you next. What have you got coming up, sir?
Coming up, managed to get a video out early this week on the channel where we did a Lightning Quick retrospective run through of issue 12 of the original Marvel Comics Transformers series. Well, I faltered quite a bit at the start of the year, if I'm brutally honest. My professional life kept continuously kicking me in the balls every time I tried to get anything done. But we've managed to put that to bed and pick up the momentum again. And then I will be helping out Transformers the Show on their charity stream on the Saturday, all being well. I am actually away next week. Me and Bea are going away. But the holiday apartment that we're in has Wi-Fi, so I'll actually be taking my little segment international, assuming all goes well with that. And then I will be at TF Nation with the rest of you come August. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Don't show up in August.
July, July. Yes, of course.
Yeah,
It's just it's just ingrained, isn't it? TF Nation's in August. Yeah, because I felt like I did say to Mr. Wallace, and I think I mentioned it to him, to Manchester. I thought it was very, very brave of TF Nation to go up against the new Spider-Man movie.
Is that when it's coming out?
Yeah, same weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I do want to see it, but yeah, priorities.
Steve reminded me talking about Transformers the Show, because I think everybody here is going to be.
I think we are
on the 24-hour live stream.
I'm on between 1 and 2 with Dogatron.
Yeah, I'm on. It's 10 o'clock.
Has anyone decided to
on
graveyard check of the AMs? Anyone doing the AMs?
No, but there's a lot of American YouTubers coming on at that time, or people who are on like West Coast or whatever. It's not so bad for them. So you've got the likes of Jim Sorensen, who's not necessarily a YouTuber, but TM reviews, Deluxe Baldwin, people like that. So that's the best way to do it, to be honest. To get that kind of slot in. But yeah, I did hear in my head, like, we got a slot between 3 and 4 a.m. and I was just like, oh no, sleep.
I was quite lucky. They asked me very early, and I turned around and they said, "What time would you like?" And I said, "Let's go 10." because I know I'll be ready then, and I won't spend the entire day just waiting to be on a live stream. Like I'll do other things. But the other thing with that is if the auction, which is running right now, if you go there, you can bid on a piece of my artwork, which I made for it's the original line art, which is inked for the last year's TF Nation.
The Good and the Bad, the Ugly?
No. The
Transformers
Transformers 1
Transformers
Phantom
1.
Menace.
Yes, of course. We spoke about that in the lead up to it.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that is available, and so you can feel free to bid on that right now.
Yes, that is a lovely piece. Do go and do that. Cool. And Lee, we'll finish you off with the X-Transbots hater. What have you got coming up, sir?
He's new head of
Transports reviews,
X-Transports.
obviously.
I was going to say he's going to review an X-Transports figure just to spite me, isn't he?
I'm really behind on taking pictures of figures. I don't think I've taken any pictures or posted anything in the last 2 or 3 weeks, actually. I have got stuff, but I just haven't got round to doing it. Because
You've definitely got stuff. Yeah, no, we
I've
are
been
very
believe
aware.
that.
I've got my second display room is currently being put together. I've just had the final shelving unit.
Sorry. Second display room. It's like saying I've got a wing in the mansion that's free.
Yeah, I'm in the wing of the mansion.
I know you are, but you're not supposed to say it.
The second of 4. So I've been mostly unpacking things and putting them on shelves. So I've not actually had time to come down into this room and take photos of things. But I'm intending to get back to doing that. I've got a couple of orders of very rare things coming. So I want to get back on track so I can start taking pictures of those.
Nice.
I've got professionally, I've got tons of work to do. So my free time's a bit sparse at the minute. And of course, we've got Warhammer 40,000 11th edition going up for pre-order next Saturday, which then means I've got an orc army to put together and learn how to use. So that's going to take up even more of my time. And then it's TF Nation.
Yeah.
Busy. Good job we got the heat wave out of the way, eh? But never mind.
So TF Nation, I usually bring lots of little things to give out to people, but every year it's getting harder and harder to find decent stuff. So I've got some things, but I haven't got anywhere near as many things.
You've given out some tremendous things. The fact that I came back with a Gigastorm was utterly ridiculous. It's up there on my shelf.
Well, I have been buying targeted gifts for very specific people. Yourself included.
Yes, I think I know what mine is going to be because I've still got the remnants here.
Oh no! I bought you a replacement Mandy, but that isn't your gift. I've got you 2 gifts.
Oh,
and I'll show you one of them. I'll show you one of them now.
Ooh.
Go on. Oh, hello. Oh,
Very nice.
This is the second release of Dinobot, which has more realistic colours.
Yeah.
So
When they made is that the one from when they made the running changes to mimic the team?
So this is the one that Sixo picked up in Manchester because he was very surprised that I knew the specific one he had because I'd just bought it myself. So that's one of your gifts. I won't show you the other one because it's much more exciting than that.
Well, I'm very excited with it. Thank you so much. I have such amazing friends. But that's.
Can I ask? Did Beast Wars Neo Randy not survive?
No.
No.
I
Well,
got him a Randy, but I said he can have it on the proviso that review. And I've coming out the box.
So I kept Randy in this box, and I kept it there because he was lovely and he was gold as a warthog, and I thought he's great. And he kept saying, "I want to see a review. Want to see a review." So I did it as a patron exclusive video, thinking, "Well, go on and let's throw it out." And it's one of my most watched videos on Patreon because it breaks twice.
Oh no!
It's the fact that it broke during translation because it's a one-step change. You pull up the tape and it went straight down. I've got
Chat is talking about this. Yes, I've got all of them.
Oh, the American football helmets, yeah, silly thing. But they, pulled up the hinge and he snapped them. So he stood but his shoulders hinged over and sat in position. They snapped, so he'll never go to his back body. Then I tried to rotate one of the warthog legs that were kind of going out that way. I tried to rotate one of them, and it made a nasty snap. And then one of his side panels for what would have been the underside of his mouth went, and you just see me like going like just go no. And I was just like, go put this down now.
Yeah.
That's
So I've
enough.
got him another one, which is mint and sealed box, because they're like 20 quid in Japan. They cost nothing. Nobody wants them because they know what's going to happen. So technically, you got 3 gifts. You got Randy, you've got Dinebot, and the other.
Oh, well, bless you so very much for doing so. Yeah, what can I say? I've got some lovely friends who come and join me on their free time for their evenings. I'm sure I'll pay them back in a form of beer in some kind. And I would, of course, David, but he's gone running away. But we'll call it there for the evening. Thank you very much for coming on, gentlemen. Thank you very much at home for watching. And as always, I will see you on the next one. End the stream. Where's the button? There's the button. End the stream again.